Hey, what is up? We are live. We will be joined shortly by Steve. First, we're going to say hi to the chat. We got Fancy Dog. We got Rudy Shoup here. Thank you guys for coming in. We are going to discuss tight ends, their values, and what strategies we like. And we're going to do all of that after the intro.
Hey, we're grinding through the torment. High volume, no management. Taming souls in descent. Grinding drafts through the abyss, no rest in our veins. Feel striking like lightning, flooding endless pains. From late season voids, he's dropping all the flames. Bestball, legions unite, shattering the chains. Old school RB stacking fury, derailing trendy trains. Who must commanding the storm etched in our brains? Who hates? Thunder in the names, claiming all the kills. Flames, names, games. Legion, wrath of fuse, donates, torment remains. Bestball eternal, in remains infernal domain. Pterodactyl pigs, screaming, Cayman chaos reigns. Fossil fury fuels the fire, drafted through the veins.
Hey, what is up,
Hey,
Steve?
what's going on?
Hey, not much. I figured I'd get started and intro would be done about by the time you got here. So you and I disagree on this topic quite a bit. So it'll be interesting because I think that elite tight ends definitely have a place. And I kind of like them. At least it's very format depending too.
Mhm.
I think they're much better clicks in the underdog playoff style than they are in marathon style or drafters.
I agree with that. Also, half point, touchdowns
correct.
are the way to go. Like even DraftKings, like how many tight ends have a 100-point bonus, 100-yard bonus? Very, very few. So I agree. There's absolute differences there. I think my thing isn't that they are that there's not a place for them. It's just I think the price is a little off, and I think it's more off because so much of the market is completely inefficiently priced. If the whole market wasn't efficiently priced, and guys, we can get into later, but like just looking at this list, Juwan Johnson, his list is 3, and I know you're just sorting by yards.
This is just what popped up whenever.
Yeah, no, I understand, but there's no reason to think Juwan Johnson can't have another really good year. And he was actually light on touchdowns last year. But my point is, Juwan Johnson goes in the 150s. So, my point is the gap that much? If the Juwan Johnsons, the Mark Andrews, the Brenton Stranges, all these other guys, they're all off the board by 120, then I think that's a different conversation. It's just I feel generally you can cobble together a couple really good tight ends in that 125 to 150 range. Right. Likely can compare with just about any elite.
I'll have to dig into this. This is a thought I've had over the last couple weeks. So like elite tight end is like it's a onesie, right? Like so if it's and they score the least amount of points overall.
Yeah.
But we both agree that the back end of the draft is pretty much inefficiently priced, right? Yeah. Like the tight ends are projected to score more points on average than the wide receivers in that range and the RBs, right? So like what's stopping us from taking an elite and then still taking 2 at like 150 and 165 and using that to try to hit our flex? Like it's just a thought I've had. Like I know that to secure a higher floor on the flex, kind of. Like I think it would be a little like, is it the best strategy? Like since we have 20 rounds now, when it goes to 18, I do think that that's not really feasible. But in these 20-round drafts, like if I take a Bowers or a McBride, if my next tight end is somewhere after round 12, I usually take 3. If I end up taking a Gadsden or a Pitts or Jake Ferguson, even like I'll stop usually.
Yeah, and I do think as I do believe in the 20 rounds pre-draft, now is the time to embrace the fact that there's so much that we know is just going to fail. Whether it's quarterbacks that we're betting on, whether it's running backs, rookies, doesn't matter. Like there's going to be a lot of just complete failures. at every position. So trying different formats, trying different things. Yeah, it can pay off more. I guess my thing is, like, I think you can get some really good scores at the end of the drafts, and that will hit your flex a little bit more often, but they still should not be hitting your flex more than the other
right. Like
running backs and receivers.
well, the thought is that if two, it's just the second guy. Like you need the third running back or the fourth receiver to hit the
Yeah.
flex. So you would think that if you spent more capital, that the flex would be higher, but you're also weakening the other positions on top of it. So like, there's a whole lot of applied math that I've never done. It's just a thought at this point. And like I went through a lot of those superflex teams from last year, like the top 10, all over on Drafters, and I went roster by roster, week by week over the top 10, and tight ends hit the flex higher on average, higher and more often than the wide receiver. So like, which is kind of it's a weird thing. Like I was not expecting to see that. I did.
No, I get that. I do think Superflex was a little different because that changes, the prices of things, and that can
Absolutely.
really tweak things quite a bit. But I guess I feel like in general, as much as I love the Juwan Johnsons, Mark Andrews, those kind of tight ends, if they're hitting my flex a lot, I'm probably low on points. And
Probably.
And for me, the only way I'm going to make up for it is if it's because I have like 2 alpha running backs or 3 alpha receiver. You know what I mean? Like my top 3 receivers are just the nuts, or my top 2 running backs are just the nuts. And I'm hitting, it's Mark Andrews is hitting like me having the best tight end score and the 12th best tight end score. Maybe that hits my flex some, but it's not really helping me overall. And this is the other thing, because it is a 1C position. Like if you take 3 running backs in a row, or 3 receivers in a row, or 4 receivers in a row, that guy, not only is he hitting you're kind of expecting him to hit your flex quite consistently, but he's also increasing the ceiling of your top 2 running back spots. Anytime one of them fail, anytime one of them get injured, of course, their bye weeks, etc., where having other options with a Brock Bowers or Trey McBride, it's like, how many weeks are they outscoring them on average? Not to say that you should never do it. I am fully in like mix-up builds, things of that nature.
I'm absolutely not saying that this is something that I fully believe in. It's just a thought process at this point.
So I guess for me, and maybe a good thing to start would be, so like last year I think was interesting because we actually did have a true number 1 tight end. And when I say that, I mean Trey McBride was healthy all year. There's no injury involved. He also dunked on the rest of the tight ends. We don't typically see that. The year before, Bowers was truly tight end 1, but then if you look at it like points per game, like guys were pretty close. Like
Kittle was higher in points per game.
Yeah, Kittle was higher in points per game.
He was 13.3 and Bowers was like 11.8 or whatever. Because I remember that specifically because I missed that question in Bestball Jeopardy because the question was who was tight end 1, and I went by points per game.
Yeah.
Which I was correct. I just answered the wrong question.
Yeah.
Like I knew it. I knew both of them. I look at everything by points per game because to me, that's what matters in Bestball.
Yeah. Yeah. I think both have a value because
they do.
Availability is the most important ability. But no, like if we look at tight end last year and, you have this up here, points per game, McBride still had over a 2-point game advantage. And that's over 3 guys who missed a lot of time.
Right. And like, that's a big chunk. That's an additional 30 points on the season. Right. And I know 30 points doesn't sound like a ton, but it really is. And I mean, so that's 14.88, and then the next is 12.065. They only played half a season, then 12.09. Like, if you remove the top five, like, he's 5 full points ahead of everybody else. And only one of those guys played the whole season.
Yeah. And so that was the combo, because a lot of times we'll have this. I said this before. Mark Andrews many years outscores George Kittle in points per game. But some years Andrews is a missed time. A lot of times we don't have this where a tight end just dominates all year and plays every game. So this is kind of unique for Trey McBride.
Yeah.
But I also think this is the unicorn.
Yeah. So like,
go ahead.
I was going to compare it to other positions, but you can go ahead.
Well, I was actually going to do the same thing. Is that 14.8?
And then here's CMC here, and this is half point PPR stats, by the way.
And can you sort that by points per game?
It is sorted by points per game. I think. I thought it was. All right, there we go.
So you have to go down to like the Kyron Chase Brown for Trey McBride.
Yeah.
And Chase Brown now goes very close to Trey McBride, but Kyron actually goes like a round and a half later.
Correct.
And even like Scattaboo, half a year, like again, Javonte, like these guys, they're not far off, and you can get them later. And I know some people would say, well, get your tight end points and then you can still get these running back points. But I also think, like, why not get both? And it's more, I think, looking at receiver as well, just because I think receiver is very top heavy in terms of points, because then it gets to really, like, there's a lot of guys who produce like 10, 11 points per game, but like the 14 or up is a pretty
there's
small.
28 that or 27 that have above 10.
Yeah.
No, it'd be 28. And then above 14, there's only 5.
Yeah. And that was a bit
6.
of a thin year.
Yeah.
Most years it's more like closer to 8, but it just shows like last year. And again, that's why Trey McBride to me is a unicorn in so many ways. Wide receiver scoring was down. The rest of the tight ends either got injured or the quarterbacks got injured. Guys like Kelsey, Warren, obviously guys like the other tight ends we mentioned getting injured. And then they threw the ball 41 times a game once Jacoby Brissett came in because they had no running backs. I just don't think that's a repeatable thing. Even with it being Jacoby Brissett again this year, I just don't think they throw anywhere near the same volume.
Oh yeah, and like I'm pretty out on McBride overall, because like I think that the reason they brought Algier in is to run the ball more, to like I think they're going to address some offensive line a little bit more. I think that they're going to play the whole, we know we're a bad team and we're going to run the ball a bunch to try to not be down by 20 some every game by halftime. And the other thing, like another reason why, especially in total points, and it's weird because like McBride was on Lutz's team to finish top 10 in the main last year over on Drafters. So like it's kind of interesting that happened, because it's harder to get them there, especially whenever, as you were saying, you got to go down to Chase Brown. So we have 9? Yeah, we have 9 running backs that are here. So you're upgrading your floor, taking the second running back a lot, because if you happen to hit on, the first round last year was CMC, Gibbs, and Bijan, right?
Bijan, yeah.
So you have one of those, and then you hit Taylor, Achane, Derrick Henry were all round, and Chase Brown were all round 2 picks. So if you go running back there, you're setting your floor up for your flex to an insane degree.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now there's the ping ponging nature and all that stuff along with it, but like this is to your point on why it's not as good as well, because like if you go RB or you go RB tight end, like the next RB, like we scroll down, we said 28 I mean, if you go, it's 30 different names that are over 10 points, right?
Yeah.
At tight end, there are five. So, like, if you are to flex that position, you're generally going to flex a lower number if you didn't go RBRB. So, like, I'm with you on I think that it's best to wait, but I'm fully on that in season long.
Yeah.
Not necessarily there whenever it's a spike, like the playoff pod spike week stuff, I think, because we did see, like, I know Pitt spiked insanely, but he's way down the board. I know Jawan Johnson also spiked a reasonable, but like we seen an elite spike in the playoffs there. We seen the biggest spike weeks last year, other than Pitts, be Bowers and McBride over and over again. If the slates were turned around and that Pitts game happened week 13 and not a week 15, it would have been like, obviously it completely changes everything. But like elite tight end probably would have really smashed because McBride did have the finals game.
Wait, what was his finals number? I thought he had a very average finals game.
What? Why does this keep resetting? I've set this up.
He had 18.6 in the finals week. I just looked it up. And that was tight end 1. Loveland was tight end 2, 18.4.
Yeah, I knew he was tight end 1. Well, in week 15, he had 31 points too.
Yeah, no, he was.
So, like, Pitts had the 44 or whatever, but Pitt, he had that much. He did struggle this week.
Yeah.
So, like, he was harder to get there because he was number 2, and then Pitt still had a really good week, right? And then he had a really solid week here. How many points did Loveland have that week? I'll look it up real quick over here.
I can bring it up real quick. Loveland had 4.5 also. So Loveland didn't have a good 15 or 16, but
I meant week 17. Like, what was 17? The difference between 1 and 2?
18.4. So just a 0.2 difference. This is on Fantasy Pros.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking it up over here Yep. So, like, he did separate, but not by a lot. And that's the difference in a round 2 pick versus a round 18 pick, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we can look at every position and you could say, oh, well, the first place guy didn't get X, right? And this round did, right? Because Luther Burden, I think, was running. What was he? He was, Zay was 1. Right, and he was a 4th round pick.
Oh, that was week 18. Week 17, yeah. Burden was 1.
Yeah.
In half point.
Yeah, all the way down at the bottom. Yeah, and like, so like you could use that same argument, like, well, the first round pick, it didn't matter because the second round. But I mean, it does and it doesn't, right? Like,
yeah.
In the playoff format, I do think that the likelihood of the spikes being by the elite positions in all positions, or the elite players at all positions, is higher, right?
I agree with that.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter which position you have. It's just the likelihood is, because, I mean, we looked at the running backs, and of the top 11 running backs, 6 of them were drafted really high, right? Like, because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I mean,
Jacobs was second round also.
He was 2-3 turn, so yeah, so 8. We'll count him.
Yeah,
and then Kyron and James Cook were also reasonably high. So the only one, like, then you start getting into the ones that were like later, right? So basically, all of the top RBs were in the first 3 rounds. All of them. Like James Cook, like, was the early part of the 4th at the end. But I mean, all still basically the same, all early. And then, like, you have a couple diamonds in the rough down here, right?
Yeah, Scadaboo, Javonte, and Etienne.
And then Swift even, and Barkley, like, underperformed, but there are other reasons. But, like, just because you go in the top doesn't make you good. But, like, it kind of signifies that the double anchor RB, why it's so good, because you lock up 28 points on average a week.
Yeah. My other concern, and you know, I do again really like Trey McBride and Brock Bowers, but it's just other times in the past when we've been taking elite tight end, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, even Sam Laporta last year, they're tied to elite offenses. We're talking about two tight ends tied to what at best these guys are fighting for offense number 20. Like,
well, my target's Loveland. You know that.
Yeah. Well, and I think Loveland's a whole different ballgame because I think there's an upside there. And that 2-round difference, I think, is huge, actually.
Yeah, no, I think that Bowers, and I think we're starting to see this. I think Bowers, like at the 2-3 turn, is fine. I think McBride in the beginning of the second has always been wrong. And I think McBride should slide down to the 2-3 turn, if not the third. And I think that we've seen Bowers slip into the third a little more often. And if Bowers becomes an early third pick, like I don't really think it matters that much because people are just diversifying and doing things different right now. And like if you're pick 22 versus pick 26, it's the same pick to me because like the same slot is going to get you every time.
Sure.
It's going to be a pick between 1 and 4 that get that player generally, unless they slide or get pulled up, right? So, like, it'll feel better to take him there because, like, I've got Bowers once or twice in the third, and it feels a lot better.
Yeah, I just did 2 drafts. The first one I did, I got Bowers at 28, and I was like, okay. I was like, he goes 28, I'll take him, you know. But it's like that's only like in the last week that's occurred. And sure, maybe when we get to BBM, we'll see that more. I honestly think both McBride and Bauer should be in the third. And Loveland is part of the reason why I have a tough time because I think Loveland has honestly just as good case to be tight end 1 as these guys.
I
and you're
fully
getting
agree.
12, 15, 20 picks later.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I was making the argument a long time ago. I was like, if Malik Willis goes to Arizona, I'm straight up Loveland over McBride. And I still believe that if that would have happened, that should have been what happened. Now, would it have been? Maybe not. And like every year we have late guys that perform very well. Last year, Tucker Kraft was an absolute smash. He was going in like round 12.
Yeah.
We had Harold Fannin going at the very end of the draft. Kyle Pitts was like round 14. Dallas Goedert was like round 11.
Jake Ferguson also.
Jake Ferguson, very solid. Tyler Warren, he ended up getting steamed at the end. But then like you look and like because it's about spike weeks. And if we go back to this chart and let's just, I'll read off a couple of the names in the middle here. Like, and we'll just look for them. So 15 was Hunter Henry, 16, or I guess it's 13 was Henry, 14 was Juwan Johnson, and 13 was Jake Ferg. Yeah. So let's look at those. So like they're all right here. Like, so you might have got a flex week here and here from tight end, but they kind of spread out throughout the season, and that's kind of what you want. Now you would have got boned in the playoffs,
only Henry
with that combination. But like to get you there, like that's the kind of thing that makes it good because right now that's a 12th round pick, a 14th round pick, and a 15th round pick, or I think it's backwards.
I think
but like same thing. Like it's 3 picks after round 10, and you could get a tight end 5 week on average throughout the season, right? With those 3 players. And you're not really giving up near as much as you do whenever you take a Trey McBride or even a Loveland or a Tyler Warren, because Tyler Warren is going solidly at the 6-7 turn now. And every tight end is just continually falling. Like, why do you think that is?
Well, I do think people are realizing that it just the bottom of the market is not moving up as it should, because we haven't even gotten into them. But even guys like a Hawkinson, a Dalton Schultz, guys, Pat Freiermuth, Meg's favorite player, but not just what they did last year, but just their upside potential, their roles in these offenses. Are they perfect prospects? No, not by any means. But you're getting these guys in the 170s, 180s. Pat Fryermuth 200. Chiga Conquo, yeah, he's jumped, but he's in the 150s, and we talked about him before. Like that just feels really good.
Well, yeah,
now
like
that he could fill the Zach Ertz role.
And Chig was on a horrendous like Chig's upside is crazy because he was on a horrendous offense with a rookie quarterback and a team that had fired their coach, right? Like, and a lot of the times that doesn't work out super well. He also had a rookie tight end that was doing pretty well with them. And they just had an offense that didn't perform that well. And now they're going to an offense that should have a healthy Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Cade Otton is going to have more red zone targets with Mike Evans gone, like almost for sure, which it would be hard. It would be very, very hard for him to have less because last year, I remember by playing DFS, and I'm not going to scroll this over yet, but I think it was week 13 when the Bucs had their first tight end touchdown. Because I remember actively avoiding Otton every single week because for whatever reason they weren't targeting, like they weren't getting them. Where is it? Red zone, end zone targets. He had one on the season, a single one, and Evans was hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Like that is crazy. Only one. And I mean, we could just type in Bucks, right? And the numbers don't really get any better.
No, just 8 targets inside the 20.
Yeah.
Like that's just insane.
And yeah, if we go back to the year before, I'm sure this number is way higher because Otton was a monster. Yeah, he had 8.
Yeah, he had double the targets himself inside the 20.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
And he missed 3 games.
I don't know why that changed. I mean, the obvious answer is Liam Cohen.
Yeah.
I kind of think that, like, I'm kind of leaning towards fading the Bucs to a small degree at this point. Like, I don't know. It's a hard thing to do. Like, I like the Godwin price. I really like that. I have a bunch of Otton right now.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's going to be a repeatable thing. I don't think that that's something that's going to repeat. Right. Like,
yeah, I think he's much more likely what he was 2 years ago than last year.
Or in between. Right. And in between, he's in the last round. It's perfectly fine.
Exactly.
With zeros instead of O. Yeah. If Evans left, the vibes are terrible. That's kind of what I like. I think that something is wrong there. Well,
they did replace their offense coordinator, and I do think that can be a big factor. I mean, we saw that with a number of teams last year.
Absolutely. So we'll remove that and go back to this screen. But that was one of the things I was wanting to talk about. I just remember for playing DFS, I actively avoided the Bucs because every week, Coolers and I would figure out like 3 to 5 tight ends to like try to be over the field as late punts in DFS. And Otton was one he kept mixing in, and I like he's generally correct on a lot of these things. And he was the one I was just like, I'm gonna when it beats me, it's gonna beat me. Yeah. But with the trends, I'm just not gonna trust that it's a thing that's gonna happen.
No.
And like the new OC is a big deal, but I'll have to do some more research on how much they used the tight end as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the OC from Atlanta, right?
Zach Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like how long was he with Atlanta? I mean, he was
2 years.
Yeah. So, and Kyle Pitts actually did well with him. So, but I actually think the Bucs are also a sneaky Kenyon Sadiq team.
I think it's possible. I just think they have so many needs, but
I agree. I don't think it's really going to happen. Like if it was going to happen, I don't think there's a 3-year deal to Otten.
Yeah.
But I also haven't looked at that contract to see if they have an out after 1 year. I'm going to do that now, but
so
not really.
Yeah, my thought with we have these options late, like the Ottens, the Pat Fryermuths, etc. But there's just so many guys. And just speaking of, Travis Kelce, he finished in total points third last year. I think he was ninth in points per game, maybe. And that was with Mahomes missing the last 4 weeks. Like his numbers were much better if you isolate before then. And he's back. He should be a touchdown guy. Like we know Mahomes probably not running himself, for the 5 touchdowns that he ran for last year.
Right.
So yeah, I just feel like, well, Kelsey's moved up since it's announced like he's been back. This is a guy who, I don't think he's the Travis Kelce getting 18 points like a couple years ago, but could he have 11, 12 points per game average? Absolutely. He averaged 9 point something last year.
Yeah, so he had 719 yards on the season with Mahomes, and he had 851 total.
Yeah.
So that is a very good point, which, I mean, kind of obvious.
And I'm guessing, I don't think he had a single touchdown after Mahomes either.
Let's look.
Yeah. They're all with Mahomes.
Yeah.
So,
So,
could he have had, I don't think he's cracking 1,000 yards last year, but could he have been more closer to 907? Yeah.
Yeah. I know W for Omega is very in on the Bucs this year because, they're getting offensive linemen back and all this other, and like Kenneth Gainwell is a great addition. I think it's a team that like could be good, and I want a little bit of everybody. I'm just going to probably be underweight on everybody. Like
I think they're probably the poor man's version of the Chargers. Chargers last year had all the injuries, all this kind of stuff, probably held back everyone. Kind of the same thing here, and we're getting a big offense coordinator change. So I think there's the same case here. The difference in both lose a veteran receiver. The difference is the Bucs veteran receiver was their heart and soul. So that is a weird thing. But I think right now I'm okay with it because Mbuka is the only one you're really paying a cost for, and I guess Bucky, but I was never in on Bucky.
I'm kind of in on Bucky at the 3-4 turn or the 4-5 turn where he's starting to go, like especially because he's the same price on the full PPR sites now, and I'm kind of in on that
full PPR.
But yeah, so like with all that being said, like Otten still ended up with a ton of yards last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we go just sort by yards here, Otten ended up having he was middle of the pack, but like 500, basically 600 yards, but one touchdown is crazy. Like everyone around him, like Dallas Goedert was getting drawn up all those plays. Gadsden, who everybody loves, also only had 3. And I get like McDaniel is a big deal, but do you want to get deep into a Rondé? Like, are you in or out on Gadsden? Because I am having a really hard time. And
so I think Gadsden with Herbert is very good. Like they correlate well together. I think there's a big upside case for Gadsden, but I also think he's a little overpriced.
That's so we could see like a Jonnu season from 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
With McDaniel and all that. But they did bring in Charlie Kohler and gave him a decent amount of money for blocking. And he's actually a better receiver. Like he was behind 2 guys who were very good.
Yeah.
So he might actually just be good at also receiving. We might find that out this year. But we had this huge stretch here right in the middle. Weeks 6, 7, 8, and 9 where he kind of just completely blew up and he was like the big talking dynasty. Everyone was trading for him. And then he kind of regressed. He had a couple OK games. This is full PPR, by the way. But other than that, and this, I remember we were reviewing all the games here. Week 6, they started playing that, and I kept pointing it out. They kept running out that Trey Harris solo receivers set that they kept doing with 3 tight ends, right? And then the next week, that exploded, and they tried it for another couple of weeks. It was fine, and then I think NFL defenses figured it out.
Well, I also think there's another correlating thing here. I believe Joe Alt came back week 6 because he got hurt the first time in the Giants game. I think he missed the Washington game. I think he came back against Miami, and then he got hurt in the Tennessee game. And so what happened after that, I think they needed their tight ends to stay in and block more, to chip more. So I think that eliminated the creativity they wanted to do with Gadsden. And Gadsden's ability is his creativity. You know, like he's not a George Kittle who, you know, can just work off the line perfectly. So I do think there was a big factor there. Because once Joe Alt, you know, it was bad enough that he lost Rashawn Slater before the season started. But once his Alt on top of that, their offensive line was just so bad. And I do think it's interesting seeing that kind of correlation right there.
Yeah, I actually hadn't put that together yet, that it was because that was the week that Joe Alt, because I just double checked it. Yeah, he did go out in week 9. So like with that being like, maybe because I've been on the Britton Strange and Juwan Johnson should go ahead, or at least with Gadsden.
Well, I'm still kind of in that same department. I don't mind saying Gadsden's the best. I don't understand the Strange thing, and I honestly don't understand the Juwan Johnson thing. I think these are 2 of the guys I really wanted to talk about because I think they both have big time upside. Again, are they going to be tight end 1? No, but could they be tight end 5, tight end 6? I think both have a case for it.
So he is there, and Juwan was high. Yeah.
So first, let's talk about Strange first. One, the points per game is even a little fluky because he went out, I think, in that Chiefs game. He had like a 20-yard catch and then got hurt. So it was like early in the game, you know, and that just affects your points per game.
I remember I was very heavily in on Strange that week in DFS because
I was very heavily in on Strange over 25 receiving yards, and I think he had like 23.
Yeah.
And that was just so tilting. And DFS as well. And so 22 yards. So tilting. But when he comes back, so he misses a big chunk of time, and then when he comes back, you start to see him used pretty well. And even before then, you know, 4 to 7 targets and receptions, and same, you know, basically just about every week when he gets back. He's, you know, utilized pretty well with a couple touchdowns down the stretch. And I just think we saw the offense look so much better in the second half of the year. Granted, there was no Travis Hunter, but by then they'd trade for Jacoby Myers and, of course, the emergence of Parker Washington. And what I put in my Twitter, Meg and I were talking about in Twitter today, is why every other piece in this offense people are all about, you know, Tootin, the 3 receivers, they're all going top 100. They're all going top 90.
Travis Hunter goes before Britton Strange half the time. Like, why?
And again, I get the talent there, but Strange has a pedigree. He was a 2nd-round pick, highly athletic tight end. He's part of the reason why Tyler Warren didn't do better in college. And, you know, like this guy was good down the stretch. So I just have a tough time
He wasn't just good down the stretch. If I don't know if you remember this, but by week 4 here, he led the team in targets and receptions. So like it's not that, and like one thing that we know for sure about Trevor Lawrence is that Trevor Lawrence can't throw the ball outside. Like he has trouble throwing it. Like that's why I started in on PTJ as a bounce back, and I still don't hate the price, but like the more you think about it, the more you're like, well, Lawrence just has never been able to throw that ball to the X receiver. very well.
Yeah.
So like, but all of the people on the inside of the field, like when Jacoby Myers works inside, he was getting a bunch of targets. Whenever Parker Washington emerged, he got all those targets. Anytime Brenton Strange was on the field, like he had a connection because it wasn't the deep downfield or outside the numbers throws that he was being focused on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want the guys on this offense that play the center of the field. And the more I've thought about it, the more I'm kind of like, I don't like the Parker Washington price, but I do think that Parker Washington is probably the wide receiver one here.
Mm.
And I don't like saying it, but I just think stylistically, but like it in my eyes, the best click is easily Brenton Strange on that team.
Well, and he's the whatever we think on the whole Travis Hunter debate, and I think my take is the issue I have against Parker Washington is if Hunter emerges as a true receiver option, I think it comes at Washington's expense. It's not going to come at BTJ as the X receiver. It's not going to come at Jacoby Myers $20 million a year. It's going to come from the former 6-rounder. But Strange, his role, their backup tight end, who was it, Hunter Long or something? I mean, we're not talking any sort of threat here. And even if they draft somebody, because they have a ton of like 3rd, 4th round picks, it's not going to be a big threat.
Well, like tight end generally takes a couple years to learn.
Yeah.
And it's a Liam Cohen offense, which has a lot going on. So, like, I don't think a rookie's going to come in and replace what Strange has done fully, for sure. Strange is the only option that has a guaranteed place. Yeah, exactly. And, like, so, like, and in this game, he got hurt. So, like, if you remove that, like, his points per game is higher. And his points – whenever Jacoby got there, because Jacoby got there, like, the trade deadline was like week 12 or something, right?
Yeah, it was either 12 or 13. I can't remember, but yeah.
And he got on the field for these 2 weeks. And then I think Parker Washington, Travis Hunter got hurt week 13?
No, that was week 8 during the bye.
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it?
So, like, I think you're going to highlight that Colts game where he didn't have a good game. That was if I believe, that was the Daniel Jones getting injured. That turned into a blowout, if I remember.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say that, like, he had a couple games that he didn't do well, but that's fine. Like, it's a tight end. We're getting him super late. We're not paying Trey McBride prices on this, right? Like,
and also, I think both those games were blowouts. So it's like, there just wasn't a lot of passing available, if I remember right.
Yeah, so like Brenton Strange ended up top 10 5 weeks. And this is an offense that everybody's pushing everybody up. And except for one player. And that's the player I want to buy. I want to look at offenses that everybody's elevating, find the cheap piece, the piece that I believe is too cheap or not getting love. And that's kind of like, I mean, it says in a receiver episode, but like, that's why I'm in on Roma Dunze. Like, he's just not getting talked about.
Yeah.
And he is kind of the piece there that is the unsung hero at this point. But yeah, we go by points per game. He's not like super high, but he's fine.
Well, and he was another one, only 3 touchdowns. I think that just is so likely. Okay, week 10.
I was thinking it was week 9 or 10 or 11 or something.
So, but another one, 3 touchdowns. It just feels like real positive touchdown regression. Like he could have 8 this year and we shouldn't bat an eye. Is the type of thing I look at.
If you add 8 points to the, like, I mean, he only played the 12 games. So, like, the points per game is 7. Like, if you add 2 touchdowns to this, that puts his touchdown or his points up to almost 9, which puts him up there with Travis Kelce, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Kincaid and Warren.
Yeah, with all of those guys. And like you said, that's a regression that's easily hit. And I've not really been on Dalton Schultz, but like looking at this, like maybe like, but this isn't an offense we're targeting either. Like the Jags are, right?
Exactly.
So that's why if you want to look at this, like that doesn't mean that Strange isn't a good click. It just means that like we're targeting this, and we're talking about that the only 3 touchdowns regression. Well, we're also betting on the Saints to be a better offense.
Yeah.
And they also only have 3. Juwan Johnson only has 3 touchdowns as well. So, like, these are the reasons you and I both kind of target these guys. I think I have 12% of both or something.
Could you do Juwan Johnson in the player profiler?
In player profiler?
Yeah, what you just did the week by week. Because I also think this, we need to keep in mind, and he had a lot of volume throughout the year. There's no question.
He had a couple pretty big spikes too.
Yeah. But this is an offense that got better as the year went on.
Well, when did Shoup get there? Was
week 9 was Shuck's first start.
Okay. I was getting ready.
He played the second half of week 8 game.
Yeah.
And so there, we see now he had, Juwan Johnson had a couple of games with Rattler also, but I just think we saw some really good games. We see the targets. We see, he just needs touchdowns. Again, add 2 or 3 touchdowns. What is his outlook? Just way better. And he had 100 targets. Only a handful of tight ends are capable of 100 targets. He's definitely one of them. And Dalton Schultz, actually, another name you mentioned, had 100 targets. And, currently right now, we'll see who the Saints add. But right now, he's probably the number 2 passing option behind Chris Olave.
I just did the math, and in full PPR, he had 11.45 fantasy points per game after Shoup. So, like, I could redo it real quick and figure out what it would be without. So, basically, it looks like 3 points a game. So, 8.5 points a game, basically. 9 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's without touchdowns. Two
of his 3 touchdowns were with Shoup, and
right. I mean, after week 12, he didn't have a single one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he started off hot with Shoup, and then he was still fine. Like he was still good, right? But like I believe in Kellen Moore. I believe that offensive line is good. I don't think that Travis Etienne's really that good at the game, but like he is an improvement to what they had. If Kamara's healthy, he's going to be fine as well. They're apparently wanting to use him. I don't know why they wouldn't, right? BTJ is trained best value in the offense. Like I do think that for half point PPR, BTJ is a good click. But that doesn't mean that I don't think that Parker Washington is not the number 1 target. Like I think Parker Washington gets the most targets this year. Like, but he's also going to have low ADOT targets.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. You can bet on, like, I think you can pick all. I think I'm like 6% on all of them. Like, I'm just not making any decisions. But Strange to me is the clear guy I want out of those groups. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
You were about to say something.
I mean,
I thought.
No, Strange for Jacksonville. But yeah, the Juwan Johnson thing, it's weird. When he first came onto the scene, he was a touchdown maker, a couple of years ago. And since then, in part because the Saints offense is, Carr's missed a lot of time. And then, last year there was no Derek Carr. Strange or Juwan Johnson has not been a touchdown guy. I see no reason why he can't go back to being that,
Oh yeah. I mean, he's got the size and all of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've heard some rumors, like I wouldn't necessarily love this myself, but I've heard some rumors that the Saints might be interested in Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah.
And if that happens, that actually increases what I think about Juwan Johnson, because if it's Cardinal Tate, I think Cardinal Tate's going to be a lot better, or Tyson, I think they're going to be a lot better in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
If they wait until the second round and hope that like Boston or like the third round for Surratt, somebody like that. Like there are a lot of guys who could be touchdown guys later, but if they end up taking Lemon, that's a pretty bullish thing for Juwan Johnson, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also it's just the thing, and this is the thing where tight ends, because the McBrides are the exception, the ability to
Right.
1,200 yards, and I don't think that's sticky. So a tight end with the offense just being better, just the touchdown opportunities are going to be there. They're going to be in the red zone more. They're going to be inside the 10 more. That's just more touchdown opportunities if the offense improves, both with the A-chain and, whatever wide receiver they bring in. The bigger thing is the offensive line being improved.
What's a bad take? Better offense is just better overall. Are we talking about the Mekhi Lemon? If we talk about the Mekhi Lemon thing, it's because I don't think Mekhi Lemon is going to be a red zone threat, like as big of a red zone threat as a Cardinal Tate.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
We're saying a tight end won't be as valuable because a wide receiver. No, I'm saying I'm saying that if Mekhi Lemon goes versus Cardinal Tate, that the touchdown equity is higher. And I think that a better offense, like both of them are fine. Like it's not going to, like Tate wouldn't kill Juwan Johnson.
No,
but
not as current ADP.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if it's Mekhi Lemon versus Tate, it increases the odds that Juwan Johnson's going to need to be used more often in the red zone. That's my take.
Yeah, essentially you're assuming they're adding spending a high draft capital on receiver.
Yeah.
And you'd just rather be a slot guy versus
that's
an outside threat.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to convey. I don't know what maybe I misspoke or whatever. I do that. I talk a lot, so I talk myself in circles here and there, but I generally know what I mean. It doesn't necessarily come out that way all the time. But yeah, I like Juwan Johnson no matter what. And it's if they take Cardinal Tate, I'm still I'm just fully in on the offense. I think that they're going to add somebody. I think the offense is going to be very good. I like to follow offenses, and you do as well, that have solid offensive lines. And maybe not the Jets, but for the most part, I like to think that the teams that have the solid offensive lines have a better chance to become stronger teams.
Yeah. No, I agree.
No, I agree with this for the most part. And we did a show on wide receiver twos. That was our first one. And we talked about this specific thing basically the entire episode, how an elite two doesn't necessarily hurt the one near as much as people think. And it's just more touchdowns for the offense, which gives you more red zone targets, which means that you're also taking more snaps because you get more drives, that you get more first downs, all of that stuff. And all of that stuff leads to fantasy points.
Well, and I mean, that page right there is a perfect example. Juwan Johnson, he listed as fourth, but he only had 7 inside the 20 targets. Just way off these other guys, like guys who miss time. And I know some guys like Loveland is impacted by the playoffs. So is like Dalton Schultz and a few others, but it's just that's just criminally low. Like if he has 7 again, then yeah, we're wrong. But
I'm bringing it up in another page. Trying to find. There we go. Another fantasy points scored. I'm going to guess that the Saints are near the bottom here. They're at 22. So I was hoping to be able to find red zone stuff for the team. I don't know where it is. I'm sure it's here somewhere. But anyway, I was just going to look at how many red zone snaps they had. But like overall, they were 22nd in total points.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if we look at the other teams that were down there, the Titans were low, right? The Browns, obviously, which is shocker because Fan had still got a bunch of touchdowns. But who was we were just talking about the Jaguars, and they were 4th, which is wild. It wasn't. It was the Bucks that like had nobody, or that didn't ever throw to the tight end.
Is this just sorted by tight end points?
No, this is overall fantasy points.
That actually shows quarterback position. I think you can sort that by tight end.
Oh, never mind. I thought that this was just by the team. That's my bad.
Yeah, no.
Hold on. There's a button over there that just says offense. There we go.
Yeah, this is what you wanted.
This is what I wanted.
Sort by just a position.
Yeah. So the Saints here.
Yeah,
they were 26th in points last year. So, which means that they were even worse at rushing because if they were 22nd overall. But like, I think it's going to be pretty hard for them with the elevation. And let's remove the first, was it 8 weeks?
Yeah.
With Rattler, and see where, like, I know they're not going to be super high, but they will have improved, right? Almost for sure. One spot. They did improve, but it was one spot.
They did, remember, at the end of the year, unfortunately, they had no running backs. They were down to Audric Estime at running back. So it's probably, if you could just isolate their passing, would probably improve the most.
I mean, we could do that as well. Look at their passing. So, yeah, they were middle of the pack in the passing.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we go back to the whole season, they did improve 2 spots. So they basically improved the same all the way across, or they improved slightly with Shoup.
Yeah, no, it was some slight adjustments, but I do think it was about a point and a half per game. And I looked this up a week ago. It was like 40 some total yards. And that was also without Shaheed at the end and et cetera. And I think this is a good one for Tyler Warren, because that's the other thing I said is guys like Kelsey, Tyler Warren, if you just look at the first 10, 11 weeks, and we already did the Kelsey one with Mahomes, it's just a much different ballgame.
Was it week 13 that Daniel Jones got hurt?
I'm looking at that. I think it was that first Jaguars game, if I remember right.
13 week. He played 13 weeks, so we will remove.
He got hurt early in the game, so you could even isolate.
I'm plan on doing that. So, it sometimes takes a minute.
Yeah, it's a great site, but sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ton of data. So,
but and this is why I just go back to the whole McBride being just so wonky last year.
Yeah, so Tyler Warren, well, he only had 3 end zone targets after that. That was with Daniel Jones. So with Daniel Jones, he had 662 yards.
And three touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, 55 receptions. For the season, he had 76. So he had 150-ish or 160 and 1 touchdown without him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, you could figure this out. What was it? 3 touchdowns, 50 some.
It was 150 yards. So like
what was his yards catches and I know 3 touchdowns in the first.
It was 662 yards, 55 receptions.
0.5 and plus 18. I think he might have had 2-point conversion, but he in the first 11 games, his average should have been roughly 10.13. Maybe he had a 2-point conversion or 2. Actually, he had a rushing touchdown, if I remember right. So it's even higher. But just passing wise, which his 8.85 includes his rushing touch. Didn't he have a rushing touchdown, I believe?
Yeah, he did.
But I just did the quick math on the 65 or the 55 catches, 662 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. That's 10.13 receiving points per game in the first 11. That's a couple point, and
right.
not counting the rushing side and any potential 2-point conversions. So yeah, I mean, he was just clearly better. He would have been in that top 5 that you mentioned that finished 10 points or more with DJ.
What do we mean by the data smoothing, by the way? Like I know by watching the Saints every week that they looked very solid at the end of the year. Like the way that they played, it looked good.
Yeah, I don't think we're trying to say like this is a top 5 offense, top 10 offense, but it's like they were 26 in total points, and I can't remember what they were in total yards, but it's just like they were clearly better second half of the year.
Okay.
And second half is also like Olave missed a game, Shaheed was traded, no running backs, things were worse in the second half. And
yeah, he was joking because he moved up like one spot. Right. So yeah, I don't always get the jokes. I get them a lot, but that one was over my head. But yeah, like so for the whole season, like he was fine. Like his yards per route run is 1.70 here. And I think it was 2.2 with Daniel Jones. I had to go back and redo that. I think it was like well over 2 points a game.
No, I think you're right. Because I mean, Rivers and Leonard just couldn't throw the ball, down the field near as much.
Yards per route run, 2.11, which is a pretty big jump.
Yeah.
So yeah, from 2.11 all the way to I think it was 1.8. 1.7.
A third of the season swinging it that much really shows a big gap. So
yeah, and like we could also even go a step further and only show the weeks without him, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be pretty ugly. 0.93.
Ooh.
0.93 yards per route run without Daniel Jones.
Do you have yards per route run on your sheet for the whole season?
I should. Yards per route.
Or that's probably yards per catch, or like yards per reception.
Yeah, that's yards per target, yards per reception.
We could look at it from fantasy points, like just what did you say, 0.9, 0.8?
It was 0.9, yeah. It's like 0.9, I think it's 0.93. Yeah, 0.93.
Yeah, let's bring up all tight ends and see where that ranks.
Oh, it had to be during just these weeks, but otherwise it'll.
I think you could do that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can. But like it would remove him.
Mm-hmm.
We could just go for the season, but
even just during this time down the stretch,
yards per route run. Will Mallory killing it. All right.
He's just so far down.
Yeah, 69.
And I understand like some other guys, and this is the issue with Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
Now he got injured in that one game, and that didn't help matters. But he definitely closed the week, the season poorly. And yeah, there's a lot of,
I did not expect to see T. Ferg down here. He got a lot of balls that like just barely missed him that he was open on though too.
Yeah.
Him and Stafford's timing was just barely off. So yeah, I mean that is not good. And for as good as he was, like if we go for the entire season, I mean if we do it the opposite, right? Like what we were doing before, he's probably going to be top 3 here or something like that, right?
Yeah, especially not counting like the outliers.
Yeah, I mean we could do minimum targets if we want to here. Take it a minute. And then filter, I think it's this one. Receiving targets greater than 20. Then apply. And Tyler Warren is 4th.
Yeah.
So Dalton Kincaid killed it. Like absolutely killed it. Well, Tucker Kraft is way up there, which doesn't surprise me. Laporta's up there. Tyler Warren. You know who's not up there?
Trey McBride. Where was McBride? I'm curious.
And this is only weeks 1 to 12.
Sure. Yeah.
13th.
Wow.
It was just all volume. Brenton Strange was higher. Kittle higher. Injured Brock Bowers was higher.
Travis Kelce, old man Travis Kelce,
Darnell the man
Colby
Washington.
Parkinson.
Well, like Darnell Washington, not Pat Freiermuth. Sorry, Meg. Like, sorry, Pat Freiermuth is
Arthur Smith.
Yeah, Pat Freiermuth is still in the top 20.
Well, I mean, just side note, that'd be so crazy. Like, I think Darnell Washington has his place in this league, but you don't have him running the 20-yard seam route.
Yeah. This is sarcasm over text. Strikes again. Absolutely. Is Noah Fant still on the Bengals?
He is not. I don't think he's signed anywhere yet.
I was going back through my sheet, this one, and I realized I hadn't updated any of the teams from the free agent thing over here. So I did the ones I noticed, and I couldn't remember seeing his name anywhere. So Gunnar Helm also a solid little note there, and that was the first half of the season. But yeah, so like Tucker Kraft, I think it's time to talk about Tucker Kraft.
Yeah,
like Tucker Kraft is like I think the best 2 clicks on the board at tight end are Colson Loveland and Tucker Kraft. I think that they both have the chance to be tight end 1 or 2. You might think I'm crazy, but Tucker Kraft was tight end 1 whenever he got hurt. Trey McBride had a very strong end of season. He was strong all season, but Kraft was, I believe he was tight end 1.
No, I'm pretty sure you're right.
So like 2.57 yards per route run is pretty awesome. Like it's very, very good at the NFL level. Like he's going in around 9 or 10 now. Like he's sliding into the hundreds every once in a while. I personally like him more than Fannin. Number 1, better offensive environment. I actually like him more than Tyler Warren. But Tyler Warren's the player that like I'm a little more scared of. So Tyler Warren hasn't moved down, and the Michael Pittman leaving. We can mix this in. Michael Pittman leaving is actually very good for Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, that's right. Fant did go to the Saints, I believe. Yeah. No, and Kraft honestly is a similar thing. Romeo Doubs is a red zone weapon, so I think that helps Kraft. I think their 3 wide receiver set, we kind of know what it's going to be. And you've Christian Watson, Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden. And Golden and Reed are not going to be big red zone guys. So I think Kraft and Watson are going to be the guys inside the red zone. And same thing with Warren with Michael Pittman leaving. Josh Downs is going to get more volume, but I don't think he's going to suddenly be this major red zone weapon. I'm sure his touchdowns will go higher just with volume. I think this is a good time to talk about like you just said, Tucker Kraft is one of the best clicks in the board. I think Harold Fannin is one of the worst. And I love Harold Fannin as a player, but he goes in between Warren and Kraft. These guys were better last year, and they're just in far, far better offenses.
No, it's all, man. Don't worry about it if you don't like a take. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good. Like, we're all gonna have different opinions on this stuff. I think, like, and I'm gonna be wrong on a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna be right on a bunch of stuff. It's gonna happen. So, like, if you don't agree, like, if you've done research or you want to go do research yourself, like, feel free, go ahead, do it. Look it up, and if you disagree, I mean, that's great. Like, use the information you have, and go look for information yourself as well.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So no, I'm just, to me, I think I think Warren's fine, just because I think him and Loveland are relatively close. Loveland's in a better system, but I think Warren can be very fine with, particularly with Pittman leaving, and them keeping the tush push. Warren, he had at least one rushing touchdown last year. Yeah. There could be a year where he has 3 or 4. And especially with Daniel Jones coming off 2 major leg injuries. The same argument with Patrick Mahomes. There's just no way these guys are rushing for touchdowns next year.
No. Like, I think that they're going to even tell Mahomes to not run for first downs as much, but we'll see if he's you can't take it out of him, but I think he'll get yelled at the side. Hey, you need to not do that. Kind of thing.
And I think it'll be the same for Daniel Jones. So that's why I think guys like Kelsey and Warren are just going to get peppered with these targets, short and intermediate targets. And same for the backs. I think it's good for the backs. I think it's good for the tight ends. And but the Harold Fannin thing is so tough for me because you have Kraft and Laporta go behind him. And those 2 guys are just tied to way, way better offenses. And this is a good because can you scroll up real quick?
Yeah.
I think people forget, we talked about a little bit when we talked about Detroit, how good Laporta was to start the year. He's 3rd here in yards per route run. He had 40 catches, 489 yards. He was on a really good pace himself. I think he ended with 6 touchdowns maybe.
We discussed this. I'm looking it up. He only had 3.
Okay.
But we discussed this specific thing on that wide receiver episode also with Jameson Williams, because you could look at, like, I thought that it was going to be like way more on JMO looking worse with Laporta, but it was actually Jahmyr Gibbs's numbers that in the receiving game that were much worse with Laporta not there.
Yeah.
And JMO was used reasonably similarly, like on yards per route run and like usage and all that stuff. It was Jahmyr Gibbs that actually took the small hit to that.
Yeah.
Which I did not expect to see at all.
No, that was definitely a surprise. But Laporta was on pace. He was a little behind on the touchdown market, but through 9 games, 500 yards, 40 catches. That's a really good season. And, if he closed maybe a little better in touchdowns, just another reason, like, I feel guys like Kraft and Laporta, I mean, we saw Laporta a couple of years ago be tight end 1, and I don't think it's likely Laporta's tight end 1, but could he be tight end 3? Could he be tight end 4? Absolutely. A guy like Fannin who goes before them, I think has no shot at a top 3 tight end spot. Well,
it's because of the offense he's in, right?
Yeah.
Like are the Browns going to score 20 points a game, right? Like, because you need to score at least 20 points a game to be tight end one, most likely.
Yeah.
Like I don't know for a fact. Like I'll look up what Arizona scored last year.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind with Arizona, because they lose their rushing quarterback Kyler, they lose their top 2 running backs. They just don't run the football down the stretch. Maybe that's the same case that the Browns lose Judkins and Sampson again. But I think we would need so many like caveats to occur for Fannin to just get that target volume. And do they draft a couple guys this year? You know, there's just so many things that can still happen between now and NFL season. And end of the day, we're talking either Watson or Shador probably at quarterback.
Yeah. So Arizona had 4,354 receiving yards on the season and 29 touchdowns. Cleveland had 3,152 and 16 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So like you got to improve that by 1,300 yards in one season.
Mm-hmm.
That feels unlikely.
And it also, a lot of it was Arizona was very one-dimensional, and the Browns, we know for a fact they don't want to be one-dimensional. Like they want Judkins to be a thing, and they almost have to have Judkins be a thing if they have any shot at games. So it just, I think Fannin, I think we're drafting him at his ceiling. Like his ceiling outcome is tight end 6-7. Like,
yeah, I didn't take like any of them. And whenever he started slipping into the 90s, I took a bag of them because I was like, I think he'll move back up because the buzz is really big on him.
sure.
And he does have spike week potential. I don't know how much I have of him.
Yeah.
I have 7%. Like I don't feel great about it, but like I like all the ones behind. I like Kyle Pitts more. I like Sam Laporta more.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I like Tyler Warren more, and I have a lot less. But Warren never goes after Fannin.
No,
and it's deserved. So while we're here, let's talk about. I just seen the name that I want to talk about. George Kittle. If we have no, like the rumors keep coming out that like this. Everything, it's like the best possible injury he could have had for what the injury was. He's going to be ready. Like, are we believing the 49ers on the injury news? Are we not? Like, I don't want to be fully out. I don't, even if he comes back week 12 and is a postseason smash guy, like, I'm taking him on teams where I have a Kraft or Fannin or whatever, and then I add a third. Like if I take him, I want to have like a semi-elite or an elite. Like maybe I've probably done it with Bowers plus Kittle and then added on Freiermuth or whatever. Like getting him to the postseason could be fantastic, but it's also like he could just get hurt again. Like he's not been a picture of health over his career, right?
Yeah, that's the issue with Kittle. And I think you can do that. And with the 20th round format, it makes it a bit more pliable. But it's my thing is from the 49ers perspective, to me, I look at it and I think they've been very cautious with injuries. 2 years ago with Christian McCaffrey, it took them months to put him out there. And then he got hurt again, obviously. Last year, they were not rushing Brock Purdy back. They were not rushing Pearsall back. They were not rushing Kittle back. So why do we assume they would this year? And even if he doesn't go on PUP and comes back like week 3, week 4, it's probably at a limited snap count for quite some time. And so I do really think you're only playing for the last 6 to 8 weeks. Yes, like unlimited snap count. If he gets a touchdown, maybe he can, have 8 points for your lineup, whatever. I just have a really tough time. And again, it's more price sensitive. If he was going where Schultz and Hawkinson were going, where even like AJ Barner is going in the 160s, okay, maybe I could talk myself into it more, but he goes before basically every tight end we've talked about. He goes before Ferg,
right,
Goddard, Strange, Likely, Kelsey, all these guys. I just
like I started in on Jake Tonjes on the offseason. I had a pretty big bag of him because I just didn't believe George Kittle would be healthy, like basically until the very end of the season, if at all. But like all these reports have me like I just don't want Tonjes either. Like I don't want zero Kittle. Like I think I'm at like 4%, 5%, 4 to 5%, something like that. And like it doesn't feel great because we like the same players I like, you like. I like Jawan Johnson. I like Britton Strange. I like them so much. I'm not getting enough Mark Andrews, who I think is another really good click down there.
Yeah.
Like I think Jake Ferguson's a fine click, but I kind of like those other two more. Gadsden to me is the hardest click on the board because like I don't know why he's 3 rounds ahead of all of these other players. Like
that's the issue.
It's McDaniel's the reason. Like I know the answer. The answer is McDaniel, but that doesn't make the answer correct. It could be correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. I honestly think it would have been kind of there no matter what. I mean, sure, maybe they hired a bad offensive-minded coach like Frank Reagan or something like that would have changed it. But I think people were just hyped because he had so many big spike weeks. And we're like, yeah, we looked at Brenton Strange and he had good weeks, but he didn't have those like that like 30-point game against, you know.
His ceiling in full PPR was like 18 points. It was like 17 point something. So
and I do want to talk about Mark Andrews because that is the other one that I think people are just totally mispricing. I mean, it's just from a career standpoint on Andrews. I know he had a bad year last year. That's not in question. But he loses the other two tight ends. Lamar missed half the year and then wasn't himself for a good portion when he came back.
Yeah.
And, you know, who's the new offensive coordinator now? Declan Doyle coming from the Ben Johnson tree.
Right.
Ben Johnson tight ends have done pretty damn well these last couple of years.
And there was some coach speak on Andrews as well. I got through half of it yesterday, but there was some coach speak on Mark Andrews, how they want to use him a lot, which, you know, whatever. That's basic talk at this point.
Yeah. I just think they made a commitment last year. They re-signed him. I know that surprised people, but that's what they decided to do. They haven't made any other moves this offseason to upgrade their pass catchers. I think they will draft somebody, but it's going to be Zay and Andrews. I feel like, you know, with no Likely and no even Charlie Kohler. You know, I'm sure they draft a tight end, but I don't think it's Sadiq. I think it's somebody in the 3rd, 4th round, and you know, I just think Andrews. And Andrew's biggest thing is he's always been such a touchdown weapon, you know, very similar to Kittle. Him and Kittle are two guys who have been so reliant on touchdowns for the game. Last year, it just didn't materialize. He had 5, which is good for his total numbers. But in years past, you know, he'd have like 9, 10, you know, like big time numbers. And I just feel.
And he's still getting that elite end zone usage.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 14 inside the 20 targets. I think the year before he had like 18 or 19. 14 is very high. You know, or high, particularly for his target share of it. So, yeah, he had 21% of his team touchdowns last year. Like, this is exactly who we want. If we're betting on Lamar to bounce back, we should be betting on Andrews to bounce back, is the way I look at it.
Yeah, he is definitely the one that I have the least of that group. And like, it doesn't feel good, but that's just how I've drafted. I started off very bullish on him, but like Britton Strange used to be like Britton Strange started these contests off ahead of Gadsden.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And now he goes at 150. Like,
I know.
Like he goes after Andrews. I used to really like Andrews. So like Jawan Johnson started at 170.
Yeah.
And then he moved up to 140. And now he's back down to 160. Brenton Strange is down to 150, and Andrews has stayed the same the entire time.
Well, Andrews started like 158, and now he's like 148. Like he got a round bump.
Right.
But it is because I think some people thought they were going to re-sign Likely or Kohler. So I don't know. Andrews, to me, I know he's older. I know he's coming off a down year, but I just feel like that was very explainable. We look at his career history. He's been, I think going into last year, he'd been a top 6 tight end in points per game for like the previous 6 years. And sure, he had a couple of years where he missed time due to injury, but if he's out there, he's healthy, I think he can go back to being at least a top 10 tight end.
All right. We've talked about most of these guys. You want to just make some loose rankings here?
Sure.
Like just for fun. Like I think we're not going to argue that these are the elite 3.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what order you have them in. This is technically mine. And at cost, it's Loveland over both, obviously by my exposure.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm kind of with you there. Like, give me the 2-round discount on Loveland every time.
Right. And like, I've got most of these Bowers shares of mine at the back, like, because he was going earlier and he keeps falling. He's going to be a 3rd-round pick here. Like, I think by BBM season, he's going to be a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah. And I think that'll be good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that like that will make it a lot better, which we discussed earlier. Okay. Now we're into like the range. Like, I know you don't like Harold Fandon. This is where discussions actually start, right?
Yeah.
Like, in my eyes, Tucker Kraft should be next, but like I fully understand Tyler Warren as well.
Yeah, I think I'd go Warren then Kraft, but I think it's very close. Now, do I like the 20 pick gap between them? Yeah,
exactly. Sure. Like this game is a market game, right?
Yeah,
that's why I have 3% Warren. I don't like it, but it's also where all the wide receivers dry up. It's where the elite quarterbacks start going. Like, that's where Drake May goes. That's where Jaden Daniels goes. That's where
Hurts goes.
Like, it's a hard click to make on Warren when those, like, the tier 1 quarterbacks go at that range.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's what I consider the last tier of like comfortable receivers goes. Cause like Christian Watson goes in there, and like Marvin Harrison and BTJ, Parker Washington. So like you can like some of those guys, but like they're kind of like the last tier of like real upside wide receivers. And I get it. They're not great names, but you add in all of those quarterbacks and it feels way worse whenever you could just wait 2 rounds and get the guy who we both have with him.
Yeah.
Like, so, and then where are we at after this? What do you think?
I think I'd go Laporta.
I agree. I'm Laporta, then Pitts.
I'm same.
Are you? And I think here is where you could start thinking about, like, I think that Fannon's kind of clearly next.
So I guess that's my question. Is Fannin next? Because I don't know. I have a tough time. I think there's question marks now for just about everyone, and everyone else just is still tied to such a better offense. Like, whatever you think of Gadsden, whatever you think of Kincaid, like, we can say Kincaid's a part-time player, but that chart you just had, he was leading in yards per route run, through the first 12 weeks.
Well, he's also got the knee thing that he didn't get fixed again.
Sure. But he's just tied to such a better offense.
Right. So Fannin, is that right? That he only had 2 end zone targets the entire season?
Yeah. But he had 10 inside the 20 targets, because they do a lot of those, like, even sometimes when they're inside the 5, he would catch it at the 3 and then run in the last 2 yards,
Yeah, true. But yeah, he ended up with 6 touchdowns on a team that, let me go look real quick. We'll go to the bottom of this list. Where's the Browns at? They had 16 total receiving touchdowns. He had 6 of them, and they had 10 rushing. So they only had 26 total touchdowns. He had 6 at tight end. So like they are building the plane out of him. Right? Like they are doing that, or they were. Who knows this year?
Well, and we talked about when we did the drafting last week, is this is a team who could take 2 receivers in the first 2 rounds, and then it's like where's it's not disrespect to Fannin.
This has nothing to do, like you GAB does this all the time. He's like, the disrespect is whatever, but he views everything in a different light than what's being talked about. Like, we're not talking about how good Fannin is at the game. If we're talking pure talent, like, he's probably up there. Like, he's close to Loveland. He's probably like, he's with Loveland and Tyler Warren, Laporta, or all those guys, like, easily.
Yeah, like these young tight ends, Loveland, Warren, Kraft, if they were on the Browns, I'd be having the same arguments about them.
Yeah, if Tucker Kraft was on the Browns, he would not be. If Tucker Kraft was on the Browns, I don't think I would have him as high. Like I don't think I would even have him next, right? Mm-hmm. But like, Fannin is such a good good player. Like, if we just go pure skill, or like as a receiver, Fannin may be 2.
Yeah, I mean, probably 3 after
2 or 3, right?
But yeah.
So like, it's not a disrespect on him; it's a disrespect on the Browns organization.
Yeah,
is what it is.
And like, yes, Bowers and McBride are on bad offenses, but I like their coaches better, and they've just proven it more. Like, Fannin had a good year, but not a great year. Those guys have done great years.
Absolutely.
What I point to. And like, Fannin, if you look at what Sam Laporta did his sophomore year, is better than Fannin's rookie year. And that was considered a down year for Laporta. And that's probably like Fannon's rookie year, I view as like his 98% outcome.
Yeah. Are you worried about Laporta's back?
Not really.
Me either.
I think if you were talking like dynasty, like, do I think Laporta is going to have a 12-year career? Probably not. But for this year, until we get an injury, then yeah, I think he's fine.
Yeah. So for me, I'm kind of Fannin next for sure. And I think that Kincaid makes sense as well. You were Kincaid or Fannin, right?
Yeah, I think I'd take Kincaid. Just Fannin's the better tight end, but Kincaid is the better receiver.
And he's in an absolutely elite offense.
The volume there is just so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, we'll just do this because that's how you have it. So now we're into the meat, the meat was right there. Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that, like, I want one of these guys on my rosters most time. I personally don't like whenever I like that much, because sometimes people, like, I'll see rooms where they start at Juwan Johnson. I don't usually like those rooms. I've made some of those rooms. I don't generally like those rooms. I want somebody by this point and then 2 punts if I'm going to do it. Like, that's just how I feel. That may not be right, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I've done both. And some of those, I think, because I did one of my builds today, my first 2 tight ends were Chig and Hawkinson. Is that the greatest tight end room of all time? No. But I think I can be passable.
Yeah. So Peppertoni does think the Fannin is a good but not great click. And yeah, he did have 100 targets.
No, he did. Yeah. He did.
And like, that's not going to change. That's kind of why
So did Dalton Schultz 150 picks later, or 130 picks later.
Yeah. That's why I have him next. And like, remember this contest. So Kyle Pitts, I want to touch on him for a second. Like, we're getting into Kevin Stefanski offense now, in which we know he uses tight ends a lot. We know that Tua is a release valve kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he's taken tight ends to a really high level before. We know that they have a strong running game, like, to be able to take pressure off of Tua. Like, or Penix, whoever it ends up being. Like, Kyle Pitts started this contest like way too high, like 40.
Yeah.
But in my eyes, this is the classic example of, and Drake May's the same thing right now. Drake May started the contest at like ADP 38, like 2 picks behind Josh Allen. Now he's going to the 70s, like late 70s, like almost in round 7. Like it's too far of a fall. It's whenever people hear over and over again that this pick isn't good, they don't reset whenever the pick becomes good.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Kyle Pitts is. I think Kyle Pitts has gotten to the point that he's like I don't know. I'm kind of in on Pitt. I know that the exposure doesn't show it, but that's because of the Tucker Craft 18%. Like there's a reason. It's because I think this is one of the most wrong prices on the board. But and he goes around the same spot as Pitts. And I do think that 2 of these guys overall, like I have a couple teams where it's like Kraft plus Laporta or Kraft Pitts. I don't love those teams usually, but I've done it. So like if I have that much of him, I'm going to be missing some of these guys too. And like, but like I think Kyle Pitts has a very solid potential this year. And I think that he's being discounted somewhat because of where he started his ADP. That's
no. I agree with that. And I think, like you said, it's very comparable to May. He went early, and even when he started to fall, it was like 60s, 70s, and it was still like not great.
Yeah.
But once it hit to the 80s, I think it was fine.
Yeah, like I never thought he should have been ahead of Tucker Craft, but like whenever he's getting picked around Tucker Craft, I'm fine with the click. It's kind of how I was. And like I don't know. I personally do like Pitts over Laporta, but it's like they're next to each other in my ranks.
I think Pitts has more like single game spike week potential, but I think Laporta has more like I can do 8 games of 15 points, like that kind of potential.
All right. So let's move on. Are we going to put Gadsden next, or are we going to do something crazy like Kelsey? Are we going to go?
I was going to say Kelsey or Goddard next.
I think that these 2 are 2 of the better clicks on the board. And I think that so I'll just put the names that we're going to probably talk about here in the queue and we can move them around. Do you want to add anyone else? Sadiq?
I'd add Mark Andrews.
We'll add Mark Andrews. Okay. So I kind of think that this is a tier. And I think that Kittle is out of it. And I think that Sadiq is out of it in my eyes. Would you agree?
I definitely think Kittle's out of it. I like Sadiq and Likely, I think are like honorable mentions in this tier and in the right kind of builds. Obviously, if you like Jackson Dart or something like that, they make sense. And I think you want some exposure to him, especially Sadiq, because if he gets the right landing spot, he could, be well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yesterday, it was 2 days ago, I got a Sadiq at 151 share again. Okay. He fell 21 picks. I'm like, absolutely. Like I actually took him over Britton Strange on that team. I was like, well, this is where I get my shares,
And I will also add, like, if we're talking a true tier break, I think Hunter Henry deserves this because he has the red zone role and there's no Austin Hooper.
Well, I just think this is a gigantic tier. I might even find putting Chig
I'm fine too.
And Sadiq. Like, I think that this tier is just gigantic. But I do think that they're like I kind of think that just these top 5 are their own tier, and then it's like the rest of them. That in my eyes.
Yeah. So like I agree, like Ferguson and Andrews are and Henry, but Ferguson and Andrews are very touchdown dependent, but they also have the potential for like 9 to 12 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and that's what we're looking for. We're touchdown hunting with these guys. So I kind of agree that like Kelsey, Goddard may be the right clicks here. And then I think that I kind of like Strange and Juwan over Gadsden myself. But like I'm fine with whatever there. Like I think they should all be the same.
Strange over Gadsden and then probably Gadsden over Juwan, but
that feels fine. This is not baking ADP in, just our pure takes, right?
Yeah.
Like if we're baking ADP in, obviously everything's different. But like and this was the entire point of the episode. We just set everything up, and now we're going to talk about what's mispriced. And like Kelsey's been mispriced the whole time. Goddard hasn't corrected since he re-signed.
That's
like,
wild.
Like all of these free agents get signed. Rico Dowdle is now going ahead of Jalen Warren, probably rightfully so. We had Chris Rodriguez being undrafted going to the one, like his ADP on drafters is like 118 now or something.
No, he's crazy.
It's insane. Like Dallas Goedert goes to the team that gave him 11 touchdowns last year and he doesn't move. Okay. Like, and there's talk of AJ Brown getting traded, which just means that he's going to have a bigger touchdown share.
And they also got a new offense coordinator upgrade.
Like a lot of things. Now I don't believe the AJ Brown stuff. I've already got a bet on that. Me and Lutz bet a BBM on it, on if it's going to happen before the season or not, basically. So a little fun thing. One of us pays for it. Split. I was like, it's going to be hilarious whenever you get $1 million for losing this bet. Listen to it. that was what I told them. I'm like, it'd be nice to lose this bet and win $1 million. Could you imagine if you made a bet with somebody on a shared entry and that's amazing. The one that wins, right? Like, and I think that's the way that, like, if people disagree in the space, how they should always bet. It's just a shared entry. Like, it makes sense. But yeah, I think that those two are very, very solid clicks right now. And like I generally wait a little bit. Like I've usually taken a tight end earlier, so I don't get as much Goddard and Kelsey because I'm waiting, and that's why I have more Strange and Juwan Johnson because they go 20 picks later. So I tend to get them a little more. Have you noticed Jake Ferguson's been falling?
He has. Was it a draft I did with Meg or maybe a draft I did on my own the other day? He fell almost 20 spots. I'm like 2-round gap for Jake Ferguson. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've seen him at 140 several times recently.
Yeah. So I think I got him at 147. I was like, okay.
I kind of agree with these. And now we're at the next, like what I consider the next tier, which is Ferguson, Mark Andrews, Henry, Chig, Likely, and Sadiq. I think the top three are definitely kind of the top three here. There are rumors that New England's looking at adding a tight end. Like, have you heard that? Like, I don't.
There's been that persistent rumor, but it doesn't seem anything on the Njoku front. Initially, when free agency opened, everyone thought it was likely. That obviously didn't happen. Some of the other, Chig was another one thrown out there. That didn't happen.
And they let Hooper walk.
My guess is they draft somebody, but it's probably going to be like Max Clare in the 3rd round.
Yeah, and that does not affect Henry at all.
Yeah, and Henry, he had one of the highest red zone target shares last year. And on top of that, the Patriots, they didn't throw the ball a lot last year. They were dunking on teams all year. With the tougher schedule, I think they're going to have to throw the ball more.
So here's the end zone targets.
Well, I look more inside the 20 targets because end zone is just if the target is in the end zone, like a guy catching at the 2 and then walking in.
Yeah, it is a better stat. I just clicked the wrong one there. So we got Trey McBride just lapping the field at 32. And then Ferg, Hunter Henry, and Goddard, 3 of the names we were talking about. Colby Parkinson is a wild name there.
Now that does include the playoffs for guys like Parkinson, Henry. But I still think they'd both be up there.
Yeah. And like Henry's number will drop too with this, right?
Yeah.
Henry actually moved up. So yeah, inside the 20 during the season, Hunter Henry had 21 targets. Parkinson had 21. Tyler Warren, Bowers missed 5 games and still had 17. So like Gadsden seems to pop in all these things, by the
Yeah.
way, like, which is a little concerning for me, because I've been kind of out on it. But so, like, I do think that, like, looking through some of this, I'm probably going to get a little more exposure to Gadsden.
Mhm.
Like, I'm still not like I want pieces on that offense, number one, but like I still like the Kelsey and Goddard a little more.
Yeah. No, me too. I think they're just a little safer. They've obviously have better track records, and but I do want a chunk of Gadsden. I just hope his ADP starts to slip a little bit.
Yeah, that there's no reason. Oh, I went to the wrong page. There's no reason that his ADP needs to be 25 picks, 30 picks higher than these other guys.
Yeah.
And he's been sliding too. So like all of these middle tight ends, like all of them have. Like Kincaid now, like
Yeah.
he's fallen 20 picks. All like basically every tight end after Tyler Warren has fell at this point. So all right. So are you Hunter Henry, Ferguson, or Andrews here?
I'm Andrews at the top of that tier just because his track record is too good, and I can explain away last year with the Lamar stuff as much as anything.
Yeah. He ain't gonna fall, boys. He's already fell. You can't be in all the rooms, Mike Rob. You can't be in all of them. You can't be.
Gadsden is Mike Rob's Pat Frymuth.
Yeah, I thought he was a Iomanner bull, not a Gadsden bull.
Well, that's his receiver.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know.
So he's keeping Iomanner drafted.
Yeah, I take him a lot in the very last round. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So I think I kind of like Henry even over Ferg, but like
I do too for the reason I just said.
Yeah.
I think
with that being said, like Jake Ferguson was actually higher on the list.
He was. He very much like, but this is what I'm thinking is Jake Ferguson, that offense should be the same. There's no reason it should change. I think Pickens is back, Flournoy is at number 3, etc. I think the Patriots, they're going to throw the ball more. I think they're almost going to have to, because they're not just, when we were doing breakdowns, remember how many weeks we'd be like, okay, the Patriots stopped throwing the ball. Like there was that Panthers game where Drake May had 17 targets or 17 attempts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually think Hunter Henry had a touchdown in that game, but it's just that happened just way too often where the Patriots are just blowing out teams. I think they're going to be in much more competitive game scripts this year, which should lead to Drake May throwing the ball a lot more.
I kind of agree. Like they're going to have the first place schedule as well, all that stuff. So yeah, and like Ferg, like the reason I have him last in that tier is mostly because like you said Pickens is back, but like Lamb was in and out of the lineup, and that like we haven't looked at the splits. I'm sure that we could.
3 of his best games were without Lamb.
Yeah, so like, do you remember what weeks Lamb was hurt?
I think Lamb got hurt week 3 and was out the next 3 games.
So remove.
I think Lamb got hurt early week 3, if I remember right.
He had 24 inside the 20 targets. If we remove those 3 games, only 2 a game.
Yeah. It was more from his, like he had 4 touchdowns in that 3 games.
He did. Yeah. Yeah. Because he had back-to-back 2 touchdown games or something, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Or 2 of the 3 were 2 touchdown games, I believe.
Yeah, because he kind of smashed in that time. And then like if we do the opposite and we I guess if we
he had half of his touchdowns in that 3-game sample. Because he had 8 total, I believe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I was thinking of it backwards. Let me it'll take a minute, but like we'll get there. But like I agree that he like that Hunter Henry should probably be ahead. That like for the most part, like the differences we have are like one tier on a player here and there.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a filter on.
Yeah.
It's like, why is there no name? So he had 6 of his 24 in those weeks. And he had 4 touchdowns of his 8.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big chunk in a 3-game sample over a
7. His yards per route run were 7.18.
Yeah. 7.18.
Oh, no, that's yards per reception. Okay.
Yards per route run is 1.58.
Okay. Yeah. He did a lot of red zone work. And I still think, like, I still think he could end up with 8 touchdowns this year. It's just, you know, I think Henry just has a bit higher of a ceiling. And this is some, you know, like if A.J. Brown ends up getting traded there, then maybe that changes, et cetera. Like, I think Ferguson is super safe to be somewhere between tight end 8 and tight end 14.
Yeah,
is how I look at it.
He'll have a few 14 to 15 point spikes.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I like these guys. Like, I like them. I think this is right. Now, these 3 are the huge swings. Like, these are the guys that could finish top 5. Like, I think Chig, Likely, and Sadiq all have the ability to possibly finish like top 5 if things go right. We've seen a rookie tight end do it for 3 years in a row now. I don't think Sadiq is the same. Like, I don't even think he's like the prospect that Laporta was coming out, but like, I'm kind of down on him. And I haven't, to be fair, I haven't fully done as much research on Sadiq specifically. So I've just looked at some things and I don't know. It feels thin to me. But like he's without a doubt not a prospect like Bowers. He's not a prospect like Tyler Warren or Colson Loveland. Like he's definitely not that. And like Laporta was more of a like I'll give like he's a better prospect than Laporta. That was just wrong. But like situation, if he lands in a situation like Detroit was 3 years ago, he could absolutely smash. But he has to land in that spot.
Yeah, I think the tough thing is, so like last year, we kind of knew both Bears and Colts were in the tight end mix, and those were like the 2 best landing spots for them, whichever way, even if they went reverse. You had 2 very innovative offensive-minded coaches, you know, the young quarterback for Caleb Williams and then an upgraded quarterback in Daniel Jones. And, you know, it was kind of the same thing with, you know, Laporta, like you said. Bowers is the one who like defied odds because he played with just terrible quarterback play and dominated. The thing with Sadiq is there's not just that many great landing spots. And, you know, we've talked about it. Like if this was a situation where we thought he'd go to Denver, sign me up.
Yeah.
But his probably best case scenario is the Panthers. And that's just kind of
Well, we've already seen Dave Canales like commit to just running the ball all the time. Having a second elite weapon, I don't think is going to make him pass the ball more.
Yeah. I mean, I think
that's an opinion.
I think Sadiq can be fine, but I think he's going to be in this like 600-yard, 5 to 7 touchdown type range. And there's just a number of tight ends who can do that, you know?
Yeah. So this is actually the order I have these. I like Chig over Sadiq personally. I don't know where you feel. And I like Likely more than Sadiq as well.
I think I have Likely more than Sadiq. I think I have Sadiq over Chig, but so much of it will depend on landing spot because, you know, maybe something weird happens.
We do agree that like this tier is here. Like those 5 are kind of a tier from Kelsey down to Jawan, and then we kind of have a 3-person tier with Andrews, Henry, and Ferg, right? And then these 3 are kind of next, right? Yeah, in some order, right?
Yeah,
like, and I think that like so it's kind of odd because I was expecting to have differences in tier. The only person we kind of had a difference in tier is kind of Fannin because I like him more than Kincaid. You don't. So other than that, like we've been pretty much the same.
Just a minor tweak here or there, but I agree. These are the three like wild card upside swings where in the right landing spot, the right things happen. They have dynamic ability, and we could just see some big. They can all be essentially like poor man's Kyle Pitts, right? And even as a rookie, Kyle Pitts had 1,000 yards, not many touchdowns, but he had 1,000 yards. So that's kind of not that I think any of these guys are getting 1,000 yards, but they could just be heavily involved in the right offense. And if they get a little touchdown luck, because Chig is, I think, never had more than 2 touchdowns, maybe at 3 one year. So hopefully he's like, I'm sure he'll set a career high, but is it 4? Is it 5? Or is it 7? Like 7's a much bigger, that's what we want from our tight ends. And, some of the guys we talked about earlier, like Juwan Johnson or even Warren, who are a little late on the tight end department, Gadsden, like just the upside is just way higher for those guys due to their offense, due to their red zone role, etc. But I like all three of these guys. I think they're very, very solid guys who will get some 15 to 20 point games.
All right. So next, I almost put AJ Barner in this tier, by the way. I think Barner's getting disrespected, but
so I think the next three are actually in their same tier as well. I probably look at it a little differently.
Barner, Hawk, the next three
Barner,
here.
Hawk, and Schultz.
Okay.
And I probably would lean with a quarterback now. And I know you're a little out on Kyler versus tight ends. I think that's overblown. I think Kevin O'Connell will find a way. And
so so before we get into this, I kind of think that K-Dot needs to be in this tier.
Yeah, I think for me, Otten has never shown massive touchdown upside. He had the 1 year with 4.
Right.
And so I think him,
but
Taylor,
he
Helm,
also never had a season without Mike Evans.
True. It's just
that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I'm gonna make that bet, but it's fine. Like I'm perfectly happy getting him 20 picks later, which is why I have so little of this tier. By the way,
I don't mind this tier because I think Hawkinson, just for you, when he got injured, he was like tight end 6 at the point that he got injured a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And the year before that, he was like a top 10 tight end. And he's still relatively young. It's not like this guy is Travis Kelce's age or anything like that.
He's about like 29.
He's probably 28, 29. Yeah.
I'll look it up right now. 28.7.
Yeah. So, and you look at last year, I don't think he had 2 years ago when he came back from injury, he actually was fine from a yards per game standpoint. He had no touchdowns. Last year, I think he had 1 or 2 touchdowns. But they had just some of the most horrendous quarterback play we've ever seen.
He had 3 touchdowns, oddly.
He had 3?
Yeah. Okay. He had 0 in 2024, which is wild.
But that was the year he missed the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, but he played 10 weeks and had 0 touchdowns.
No, I know. That was just That's why I was making a decent bet on him last year, because it was like he's going to get positive touchdown regression, and he did. It's just his quarterback was really bad.
So where are you at with Njoku? Are you a believer that since he's not signed now that the NFL's a little out on him? Are you thinking that the tight end class is good enough that it's going to diminish the spots that he can go? And
well, I think probably only one tight end is a true start. I'm kind of out on Stowers now. I just think it's going to be tough for him to get on the field.
I thought he was going to get steamed to the 140s, and I took him every draft for a week. I've done that twice this offseason, and I regretted it both times. Stowers was one of them, and Singleton was the other.
Yeah. I was with you on Singleton. But so I think Sadiq's probably the only tight end, like rookie tight end, who's really going to fill a major role. Most of these other ones are going to be like longer term insurance, like the Ravens drafting somebody, maybe the Chiefs drafting somebody in the mid rounds. Philly could draft somebody in round 3. But my thing with Njoku is there's a couple spots like he could end up, but most likely he probably has to take a tight end 2 role is kind of where I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, I think he may end up in Atlanta, weirdly.
Yeah, I think that is quite possible.
Yeah. All right, so Hawkinson, then Barner or Schultz. I assume you like Schultz more.
I do. I have more Schultz. I like Barner, but I think Schultz still has a chance to be number 2 in that offense.
Yeah, but the Seattle RB1 and tight end 1 right here in AJ Barner.
He does have that tush push ability.
Come on, he RB and tight end 1.
But yeah, I mean, it's not like I like AJ Barner, but he does have at least some competition in Arroyo that these other guys don't have. Maybe that changes with the draft, but
I'll tell you why I have Barner 1 in this tier.
Okay.
I think that Seattle's lack of going out and getting a running back, number one, like the market was pretty cheap. So I'm surprised they didn't go get one. And to me, it's because they're going to turn the ball over to Sam Darnold to pass more. And if that happens, it's not like they added a red zone threat to their offense. And I think that Barner could be that guy to get the 8 touchdowns down here.
No, that is fair. And
that's why I personally like Barner over these guys.
Yeah.
I just looking at what they've done, and maybe I've actually started hearing a bunch of they're kind of in on like Jonah Coleman talk.
Mm-hmm.
So like if Coleman's there at the end of the second round, it's good. Like I think there's a solid chance at this point that they just take Jonah Coleman at the end of round 2. And Jonah Coleman's fallen in all these drafts, and I'm only at weight. I think I want to start taking some myself.
Yeah. No, it does seem like Seattle's going to wait to the draft for more running back upgrades. And I do think they pass more.
Yeah.
It is there's a lot of mouths to feed now in that passing offense. It's not like I'm out on AJ Barner. It's just, I guess because I've seen it from Hawk, I've seen it from Schultz. Schultz, coming off a 100 target year.
He had 6 touchdowns, 519 yards. And that was in an offense that wanted to run the ball all the time.
Yeah.
If they become more pass happy, I don't think it's very hard for him to hit 710.
No. And that's why I think these guys are kind of 3 closely together. It's just,
and Barner, I think that's what you want from all these guys, 710. If you get 700 yards and 10 touchdowns, you feel very, very good about these guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And all 3 of them have an ability to do that in my eyes. And like the Dalton Schultz one, did they fix the offensive line? Like they all have questions, and it's not about the player. Kyler Murray, is he going to be able to find a tight end in the red zone? AJ Barner, like, are they actually going to pass the ball more? And is he a tight end or a running back? We don't know. But yeah, I do think that those 3 are kind of next, and it's a pick which one you want kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I do agree with that being the next year. So now we're in the area of like the last hope, right? I don't have much Parkinson. So T Ferg, let's talk about T Ferg and Parkinson.
Yeah.
And this is so like Terrence Ferguson last year had a bunch of like down the field targets near the so I'm looking for it. I have that stuff here somewhere. So yards per target, depth. Average depth of target is probably the way to do it. Yeah, Terrence Ferguson, 18.32.
Yeah.
That should be a dot. I don't know why it just says depth. I guess I failed. But like the next highest is 12.12. He only had 25 targets, but that's 25 targets at 18.32. Like that is like Alec Pierce was like, how many wide receivers hit that? Right? Probably 4. Oh, well. McCole Hardman, like at one target, 46 yards. The king.
Devontae Walker, 8 targets.
Yeah, 8 targets. Yeah, so like remove those guys. You have Kyle Williams down here, 21. Like he's close. But like he basically was number 2 on the season of people who had 20 plus targets.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, we could look at running back, but I'm going to promise you that there's nobody there. It's like maybe there is. I don't know.
It would be some running back with like one deep target, you know.
Yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and do it for fun. Average depth of target here. 4.24.
Who's the winner?
Ramondre at 37 target. Oh, wow. Like
I never would have. You could give me 20 guesses.
that was not all right. Ramondre to the moon, guys. But yeah, like so I like in Bestball, I like the T Ferg click because I do think that they built the specific thing for him. The average depth of target. I know that they only connected on a couple of them. He did get 3 touchdowns, but like he's the guy that could get the 40-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Every other like 4 times throughout the 3-4 times throughout the season. A 40-yard touchdown isn't like crazy points, but it is like 10 to 11 points, right? And if you're taking the late tight end approach, especially in the 4 tight end builds, and that's if it's just one catch. And I think that the McVay, I think they're going to run the 12 and 13 personnel stuff a lot.
I agree. I think them drafting a receiver early is kind of a smokescreen. Not that they can't take one maybe second or third round, but I don't think they're taking one at 13. So I don't mind Ferguson. I'm just more in on Parkinson because I think Parkinson just gives.
Yeah, it's consistency versus spike week. What do you like?
Well, and he's just the perfect chaperone pick. He's 20th.
He really is.
He's 20th round, and he is going to not be fully drafted. There are many drafts I've left now that he just doesn't get drafted.
He's a guy I try to, like, if I need a tight end at the end, I try to save him. Every time I try to, he goes way before ADP. And I get stuck taking, like that's why I have, like, 1.3% Dulcich and why I've taken Arroyo and stuff.
Yeah. No. So I think we see this similar. Like, I do think they're going to be in 12 personnel a lot. I'm sure Ferguson's targets are going to go up. Now, I believe his targets, ADOT is going to go down, but he will get the downfield shots. I think Parkinson gets more red zone work. I think they're both very clickable. And I think they both have a role in best ball. When Meg and I did that 5-5-5-5 team the other day, we took both. Because
I actually think that like if I take Stafford, I don't mind the double stack of them.
No, need to
like if you do I've done several, not probably like 10 of my 130 that I've done have been 4 tight end teams, and I don't mind the double Rams tight end there on those teams. We've seen both of them hit a couple times last year. So of these guys, I don't mind the Park. I'm kind of Kate Otten and Mason Taylor well above and Njoku over the rest though. And I like Helm a lot.
I like Helm a lot. And I do think, not just because of Meg, but I think Pat Fryermuth is just,
I mean,
there's no Jonnu now. It's a more dynamic offense. We're still assuming Aaron Rodgers or probably fallback Kirk Cousins, which I think both could be good for him. And yes, Washington's there, but I just assume that they're going to use these tight ends more efficiently now. And I know sometimes rational assumptions with NFL coaches is bad, but Mike McCarthy has a pretty good track record. And also Mike McCarthy for Dallas, like we saw Schultz and Ferguson have big years.
Right. I think that like from Kate Otten down to Fryermuth, or Parkinson down to Fryermuth, I think that it's kind of I just want a little bit of all of them.
Yeah.
I prefer, like, my personal preference is kind of this. And then, like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of still betting that Njoku gets there. But yeah, this is probably like how I have it.
Yeah, I'd probably have Njoku lower, but it's all if he ends up in a let's say Carolina doesn't take Sadiq.
Yeah.
Let's say Carolina doesn't take Sadiq and they sign Njoku, then sign me up for Njoku.
I mean, Taysom Hill in Denver would be the most epic thing we could possibly have. He's not getting drafted at all. Maybe I will mix him in. Like one team, a one-time Taysom Hill team. I will see if I'm doing a draft later tonight with somebody. I'll see if I can't convince that guest to do it. I'm assuming I'll be able to. It's Bestball guys coming on.
Oh, nice.
We scheduled one before and something came up. He couldn't make it, so he reached out yesterday and said that he wanted to do it today.
Nice.
Hopefully that happens, but yeah. I think I could convince him to take a Taysom Hill share. I don't know. If nothing else, for the memes. What's up, Emo? How we doing? Yeah, so of these guys, like I think all of them are fine clicks. Is there anybody else that you like? We didn't even discuss George Kittle, by the way.
Yeah, well, this is my problem is I think Kittle should go so in terms of talent, Kittle goes way higher, but I think Kittle should go, right there. Kind of exactly right there.
I take him sometimes. I never take him at ADP. It's always like anytime he falls like 5 picks, but I take him if I've already got a tight end. If I don't have a tight end, I will never take George Kittle as my tight end one. I'm not doing that.
What's so crazy to me is, as we talked about, all these other guys are falling, but George Kittle.
Yeah, he's the only one that's not, because they said that he may be healthy week 1. But the same people who said Christian McCaffrey was fully healthy.
But my point is, like, we know Brenton Strange is healthy. We know Dallas Goedert's back in Philly, and they're not like changing.
I mean, they're not George Kittle, though.
Sure, but Dallas Goedert had 11 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, Goddard and Andrews are the ones that I think are kind of clearly, I view so if Kittle misses first 4 weeks, if he's on the pup and he's out just the first 4 weeks and starts week 5, and he's fully healthy, George Kittle, where do you like him?
Well,
I just assumed that was a scenario, and we knew that that's what was going to happen. But if we know that, do you take him up here with Fannin and Kincaid, or do you still push him down the board?
I'm still pushing him down a little bit because when you say fully healthy, do you mean getting his same snap share that he has in past years?
Yeah, I mean, he's full go, but he's still 32.
Yeah,
and he's coming off this injury. Him being fully healthy at this age, coming off of another injury. Do I think that he's going to come back this year? Yeah. Do I wonder if he's going to be the same George Kittle.
Yeah. No, I kind of think that. I think, and look, like a guy like Zach Ertz, who had just unfortunately had another bad injury, but he had a bad injury a couple of years ago. He came back and he still played well. Could that be Kittle? No, Kittle's injury was later, all that kind of stuff. Sure. But it's we're never taking Zach Ertz. I mean, people were taking Ben Sinnott ahead of Zach Ertz. That was just always wrong. And my point is, like, if George Kittle was going in the 160s, 170s, 180s, yeah, I'd have a bag of them. But I just can't take it right now because there's just too many outcomes where it fails right now. And there's like one outcome where it's a massive success.
Yeah. And by the way, anybody who wants to listen to Spanish football content right here, this is Chaedo, the one and only. I need to reach out to Chaedo and have him on sometime. Like, message me on X or whatever. We'll figure something out. He obviously knows English, so I can speak with him. I don't know Spanish. I know some words, and we better not say those words. Like, you know, I actually have family that is full Mexican, so, or half, and their mother's full, right? But so I've heard a bunch, and not necessarily the good words. Yeah, I know bad ones. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think, like, I'm kind of to where Stowers is undraftable.
Me too.
Like, the more I kept saying it early on whenever I was taking him at 190. I'm like, look, I don't want to take any at 160, 150. But, like, he absolutely requires the perfect landing spot. And then he has to learn the offense. And he has to go to a team. Like, he's just the H-back guy. But he's not an H-back with the same, like, I know he's very athletic, but he's not as good of a football player as, like, Kincaid coming out.
Well, even somebody who I just mentioned, like a Ben Sinnott, who, you know, is not really, you know, is kind of a in-between fullback tight end. At least he can block a little bit. At least he can be out there in the field. And I just don't know how many teams are going to be willing to have Stowers out there.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. Like,
especially year one, like I could see teams being like, okay, we're going to bulk him up. We're going to put him in the weight room. We're going to get him to learn from a blocking coach, all this kind of stuff. But year one,
I kind of wonder, like, this is the dream scenario. Like, to get him in the second round to the Broncos, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody's even talking about this full circle. Like, they want that because it's Sean Payton and the Joker stuff. What about Sean Payton and the Taysom Hill guy? Like, he could do the Taysom Hill stuff.
Yeah, the quarterback.
He was a quarterback, right? In college. He got beat out by the name is it Dylan Iola? Was that who?
No, that Diego Pavia.
Pavia, yeah. He got beat out by Pavia, and, like, he's still a solid enough guy to throw the ball at, like, not elite level, but, like, to do the stuff Taysom Hill was doing, he could probably do that stuff. It would be really fun to see Sean Payton with him. And, like, I don't necessarily think it'd be something that'd be useful this year, but like, how much fun would it be to get Taysom Hill there to teach him for a year? Come on, I will show you the way. I will show you.
Yeah. Now it's tough to find a good landing spot for him. So I'm with you. I think he's out because his upside case is one of the few remaining guys that's draftable is Mike Gesicki, but Gesicki needs that perfect situation where the Bengals only want him to come in and be like their third option.
All right. So let's talk about some of these lower owned options out here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this out. I still think Theo Johnson's clickable in the last round. Multiple weeks last year, dart through touchdowns to multiple different tight ends. Likely has never been fully, like, clearly healthy all the time. So, like, I think that even if they're both healthy, I think Theo is going to see some things. And I definitely think that the tight end for the Giants is a guy that is going to have some spike week upside no matter what. Now, I'm not going to mix him in on, like, non-dart teams very often. But I've actually done, since then, I've actually taken a likely plus Theo team on 4 tight, like how I was talking about the Rams. I've done that with the dart team.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's smart, but I've done it. It's already out there, so it is what it is. So these late guys that people take, Tonjes, I think, is fine. Dulcich, people love. And then he was asking about Waller.
Yeah. I mean, we just haven't heard anything on Waller. Like, if he had landed somewhere, he played well. Like, I don't think there's any question that he played well. And we've heard nothing about him.
Is he even on the team?
No, he was a free agent.
Yeah. So to this right here, number one, Harbaugh's never called plays. So Matt Nagy has. Matt Nagy has ran it with Noah Gray and Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Gray's had several decent games with Kelsey on the field. So, like, that's why I'm kind of in on it. Like, I'm not saying it's like the best pick. It's just a fine pick, right? It's because Harbaugh's never ran the two times, like, the offenses. Yeah, well, yeah, they have Matt Nagy, and Matt Nagy has. So, and he will probably fully like he's gonna have full control of that offense, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm sure Harbaugh has some say, and we just saw what the Ravens were very much 12 personnel.
Right.
So I'm sure there's like an overall, like, hey, I want us to be running out 12 more, utilizing a fullback, some stuff like that. I mean, that's a reason why, because Matt Nagy's never had a fullback yet. Patrick Ricard is now a New York Giant.
It's going to be fantastic for whatever running back is there.
Yeah, hopefully
not Jeremiah Love. Yeah.
So I think Mike Gesicki is draftable. No Fant's gone. Maybe they add somebody. He is a guy who, unfortunately, 2 years ago he had a really nice year. I know some people say it's just the T. Higgins thing. I think that's a little, I think that's trying to shoehorn it in the narrative a little bit too much, because he had some of his best games 2 years ago when T. Higgins was still playing. It's just he didn't have the touchdowns. He had the touchdowns when T. Higgins was out, and of course that's so many points in half-point PPR. But last year it was a weird year because Burrow gets hurt, then he gets hurt right after, and he misses that whole Flacco window when Flacco's just chucking the ball to everyone. Mike Gesicki's not on the field.
Yeah, so here's the Bengals as a whole last year. So we discussed this in that wide receiver video as well, where Yoshi Voss only had like 48 snaps or whatever during that time, but a lot of them were in the slot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like that kind of takes away from Gesicki. Like that was what the Gesicki was doing, right?
But the thing is, like, look at their targets, 58 to 42. Gesicki missed 4.5 games.
Yeah.
And those were the 4.5 games with Joe Flacco and the one Burrow game.
I agree with this. I think it's only a click for a stack. And like I think Gesicki, I think the Bengals are very alive to take Stowers in the second round.
I just think Stowers is the one tight end they won't take because he is Mike Gesicki. Like they could be cloned.
The Bengals like weapons that they just like the Bengals are gonna not like what would fit the Bengals offense the most would be Max Clare. Max Clare would be fantastic in the third round of the Bengals, in my eyes.
Yeah.
But the Bengals never do what's best for the Bengals. They just don't. And by the way, thank you, Raitai. I'm glad you enjoy it. Also, go over to Fanspeak and give a sub to him as well. They are close to 1,000 subs. I'm close to 500 subs. We do this every Tuesday. We're after the draft, we're gonna change the time, and 2 more people are gonna be joining the stream. We believe so. We still got to work out the logistics on that, but we're going to do a database show every week. It'll be a little more data driven too, as well. Like we'll have more charts and stuff there for sure. So I think it's going to be good content. So I think you will not regret subbing for sure.
Yeah. So my thing is there is no Noah Fant now. Gesicki's numbers were actually very comparable to Yoshivas, despite the 4+ game gap. Receptions 33 to 28. I wouldn't be surprised if Gesicki kind of takes over. Like I could see the Bengals being a team kind of like poor man's Rams. And remember, their coach came from Sean McVay.
Yeah.
That they just have. I think Gesicki's the better slot receiver than Yoshivas, and they'll just have
I agree.
Drew Sample as their blocking tight end.
I love Mitchell Tinsley, but like Yoshi just continually got the targets or the work over him. But yeah, I think Gesicki is a fine click stacked. I have a really hard time. Like if it's an unstacked guy, I'm leaning more towards Ferg or somebody or Parkinson.
I think like Parkinson's the best unstacked guy. Just
I agree.
Fall in the end zone touchdown and you're playable.
Yeah. So anybody else on these deep scrolls, they want to talk Darren Waller. Like I don't want a player who's not on a team. Like there's a difference with Njoku who was getting he's been brought in by a bunch of teams.
Yeah.
We've heard nothing on Waller, and Waller literally came out of retirement last year to play. I can't think of
because he played well.
Yeah. But, he really did. It's kind of weird that they signed Dulcich back and not Waller.
Yeah.
I mean, Dulcich at the end of the year started looking pretty solid, though.
He did. When Waller missed some time, Dulcich played well. So,
yeah.
So, Waller is one where if, we get through the draft and maybe he does re-sign with Miami, and they didn't add anyone, or he goes to Denver. Like Waller in Denver would be fun.
Oh, it would be a lot of fun.
And because we're not drafting Evan Ingram, I'm not at least.
I haven't yet. I took a few shares of Zach Ertz early. So I think Cole Kmet's clickable as well. I think Dawson Knox and Arroyo are arguable.
I think Darnell Washington.
And Darnell Washington as well. Yeah. I almost took my first share of Evan Ingram yesterday, and I was like, no, we're not going to do that. Let's continue. Let's just not do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are all
he could,
and that's why, for me, I do look at these contests as different. And I know Waller would be very unique. He's going to be 2% drafted. So if you want to do a couple teams, I get it. And maybe I would do a team, just to be like, I have one of the 2%.
Yeah,
but it's
Taysom Hill, baby. He's my guy.
I mean,
he's my,
but in this, I would only do Waller in a 4 tight end build. So if it's if he's a 0, then it doesn't hurt me. And honestly, all these guys are 4 tight end builds, but it's you took an upside shot earlier. Honestly, these are the guys to take with Njoku, Cole Kmet and Njoku, because Cole Kmet will have multiple weeks with 5 to 8 points, 1 or 2 10-point weeks, and then he's done. Same with Darnell Washington, same with Dawson Knox, etc. And if Njoku is a hit, then great. This guy's probably never hitting your lineup. But if he's a miss because he goes somewhere and he's a tight end too, then this guy can just solidly fill in and help give you a floor.
I've not taken Kmet yet, but as much as I'm in on Loveland, it kind of makes sense to throw in, for me, at least a Kmet share.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably pretty toast if Kmet if Loveland gets hurt. So probably might as well just eat it. If it happens, it happens. But yeah. Any closing thoughts here?
Yeah. I mean, I think, and just the final thing, like honestly, if there was a rookie to be taken, I would take it Max Clare. I think he's got the best chance to be fantasy relevant after Sadiq. I have very little of him. I haven't taken him in probably a month, but I do think he'd be the one to be most fantasy relevant after Sadiq. Guys like Jatavian Sanders or Tommy Tremble, guys like that. I'm just not taking. Could my opinion on these guys all change after the draft? Absolutely. And also depending on where like an Njoku or maybe even a Waller signs. Maybe we get a trade. Maybe the Bears trade Cole Kmet. I doubt it, but it's like those kind of things can happen and change my opinion. But right now, and Evan Ingram, right now I'm not really drafting him. Maybe that again changes after the draft.
Well, I want to talk about my boy Michael Trigg for a second. Like 27-inch vertical. Like did you see the video?
Yeah.
He unlike Restrepo, he legitimately looked injured when he was trying to. It's like, why are you even there? Like, because he just like kind of like looked like he was trying to jump and like I don't know. It just looked wrong. Everything looked wrong in that video. It's like why don't you just bow out? Like,
yeah, for a guy who on the field it looks like athleticism is his calling card. Didn't see much of athleticism.
No, not at all. Like, so, like I feel pretty like I'm a big fan of Michael Trigg, but like he needed to have a good combine, and then he bowed out of the combine. Then he needed a good pro day, and he ended up supposedly hurt at the pro day.
Yeah,
and had a 27-inch vertical, which is horrendous.
Yeah,
like, and still like probably 3 times what I would get, but
for his profile, and he also, I can't remember what he weighed in at, but it's not like he weighed in like Sam Roush 270, or Darnell Washington 290 a couple years ago.
I think his sheet was like he was supposed to be like 230.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree that Max Clare is probably like a player that I wouldn't mind drafting, but he's a guy I'll just wait till post draft as well. Like,
yeah, most of these guys, basically everyone, and I would put Gesicki above Stowers. Dulcich, I put Gesicki above Tonjes, and honestly Theo Johnson, just because I think he can consolidate to tight end one on his team, and it's a team that throws the ball a lot. Like tight end one on a team that throws the ball 400 times versus a team that throws the ball 600 times can matter quite a bit difference. But yeah, I mean, Dulcich, I take a little bit with Malik, but most of these guys, I'm just going to wait till after the draft.
Yeah, I think that's the smartest thing to do, but I think we've covered it.
Yeah.
All right. So like I said before, Steve on Fanspeak Network, his information is down below. They do have a Substack. I think it's $35 for an entire year, which gives you rankings and articles.
Yep, absolutely. And you can try it out for 1 week free to check it out. Well, I mean, the next
it's Stowers.
It's Stowers, or if we're talking about a quarterback conversion, it'd be Taylor and Green.
Yeah, true. But you remember old Matt Jones?
Oh yeah,
I love Matt Jones. But yeah, so give him a follow as well. We do something every week. We're going to try to make this a thing. Like, it's nice to have a show where it's not just drafting. Like, I like just talking about football as well. And like I go into this a lot of the time, like my mind gets changed on things, and that's why we're discussing things, is because like I will notice things you don't notice, you will notice things I don't notice, and that's why having more eyes on this stuff is good. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. I will be back on later tonight at 7:30 Central Time, which is 8:30 Eastern, with Bestball Guy. We'll be doing a big board, maybe 2, maybe 3. I don't know. We'll be on. We'll be drafting. It'll be a good time. Do you have anything else to talk about?
Yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow at my channel, Fanspeak Network, at 1 p.m. And then Thursday, probably the same. And then Thursday night, Sibling Showdown. That's, and then Friday, I'll be on at 1 and 2. So I should be on at 1 every day this week, 1 p.m. Eastern, that is. And then Thursday night with Meg, probably 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I love the Sibling Showdown. It is one of my favorite shows. It's just a good time. I would not miss it. But thanks everybody for coming out. If you haven't hit the sub yet, please hit the sub. For those of you who haven't and you liked it, I'm doing a 12-hour live stream post NFL draft whenever those contests launch. If we hit there. And for Steve, they're doing a 24-hour live stream when they get to 1,000. We should both be able to hit it. But anyway, have a great day. See y'all later. Peace.
Hey, we're grinding through the torment. High volume, no management. Taming souls indecent. Grinding drafts through the abyss, no rest in our veins. Feel striking like lightning, flooding endless pains from late season voids. He's dropping all the flames. Bestball, Legions unite, shattering the chains. Old school RB stacking fury, derailing trendy trains. Who is commanding the storm etched in our brains? Who? Thunder in the names, claiming all the kills, flames, games.